Welcome back. Incredible new evidence tonight of our corrupt president unveiled just before he leaves office. New photographs from 2013. Joe and Hunter Biden together in China, obtained by America First Legal through incredibly tough litigation with our own national archives. We see in a photo then VP Joe Biden on an official government trip in China, introducing Hunter Biden to Xi Jinping. And the Chinese VP as well, an introduction right there. And then comes the really good stuff. The big guy seen here, photoed with Hunter's business associates. There's Joe Biden with the business partners, and these aren't the only ones that Joe Biden met. This is Bohai Harvest, an investment fund. According to the House Oversight Committee, Hunter and his Chinese friends agreed to create in November of that year, and this photo was taken a month later in December. And they started pulling millions of dollars out of China. Right after this meeting happened, Bohai Harvest, their business license was approved. Hunter Biden was a board member. House Oversight Chairman 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐥𝐿 also uncovered in his investigation that Hunter received a $250,000 wire transfer from Bohai Harvest Jonathan Lee in the summer of 2019. That wire originated in Beijing. Joe Biden's Delaware home was listed as a beneficiary address. Joe Biden has always denied meeting Hunter's business partners. Just more proof that the Biden family is maybe the most corrupt in American history. You think about all the money that came out, the fact that they had shell companies. How many shell companies do you have? The Biden family had several to conceal the money coming from China, moving it around, moving it through family members, and then spreading it all through the family, and then the money somehow likely gets back to Joe Biden, maybe in a $40,000 check that we know about, maybe other examples of that. Seamus Brunner investigates corruption at the Government Accountability Institute, and he joins us tonight. Seamus, good to see you. The weight of these new photos. I mean, Joe Biden's old news now, right? I mean, Trump won, and he's out, and he's done. But it really does tell the story.
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. It's great to be with you. I mean, I don't know if there's a statute of limitations on treason, but this sure looks like it. Selling out your country to its number one adversary for $40,000. Joe we got over $100,000 from Hunter in the form of paying his bills, paying for landscaping and all these other kind of small ball things. But we know that there's tons of money in offshore accounts. The House Oversight Committee found all kinds of money sloshing around overseas. And so the number we got was $33 million that Hunter and Jim and Sarah Biden got. Surely some more of that got to Joe. They're not totally stupid, so we know that there's more money out there, but the photos speak 1,000 words. Yeah. I'm glad you keyed in on the business partners, because meeting with Xi Jinping, yeah, that is bad, but the fact that Joe Biden met with Jonathan Lee, who's sort of a nobody other than the fact that he runs this massive private equity fund in China that is investing in all kinds of technology, taking over some of our military technology. That was one of the deals that Hunter got through, the Henniges automotive deal that required CFIUS approval, that John Kerry, whose stepson was involved with these business dealings, granted as State Department secretary. So, yeah, it's not over just because Hunter got pardoned. They're going to have to pardon a lot more people.
Yeah, you're talking about, when you're talking about deals with an adversarial country and millions of dollars for a U.S. politician, I mean, this is textbook treason as far as I know it. Using your position to sell out your country to an adversarial nation that is surrounding us every day. The country I think we're most worried about is China, and they pulled millions of dollars out of that country. I mean, it's unbelievable. And you have this moment, and I want to skip to it, guys, the media moment here, because we've watched as the press in this country has avoided this story as much as they possibly could. They've covered up the avalanche of evidence as it's poured out of Biden's corruption for years. They helped shove him into the White House. They ignored all this evidence. And now we have this. And that behavior continued last night. Watch a CNN host trying to weasel out of this latest blast of evidence.
I'm still waiting to see the proof of Joe Biden enriching himself. I take his brother and his son, perhaps.
I'll give you
I think that is yet to materialize. Otherwise,
I'll give you the direct
your colleague, James Comer, could have produced the evidence, and he didn't.
He did. A Chinese company transferred money to a shell company owned by Hunter and Jim Biden that then transferred money directly to Jim and Sarah Biden's shell company, that then transferred the money to Jim and Sarah's personal account, who then immediately wrote a check for $40,000 to Joe Biden.
If there is something illegal happening here, there should be charges on the basis of what you're saying, and there have not been.
Well, he just pardoned Hunter
that is,
for an 11-year time period.
Hunter Biden
An 11-year time period.
He just wiped the slate.
Hang on, guys. Hang on, guys.
Jim will be next, by the way.
We're waiting for the charges, and when the charges come, we'll have a conversation about that. I promise you that. Solomon Jones, thank you very much for joining us.
I mean, it's so fake. And that goalpost has moved so far. Now it's not until charges are filed will we cover any evidence of the President of the United States' corrupt activities. Can you imagine if this was Donald Trump and his family?
Yeah, it's absurd. I mean, there were so many charges filed against Donald Trump that were just totally drummed up. And then the congressman was totally right to bring up the fact that Joe pardoned Hunter. So there were charges brought. And the tax evasion, that led directly back to Joe, because those were profits that Hunter then spent enriching Joe Biden's lifestyle, paying for upgrades to his house, paying his cell phone bill and other bills. And so the money flowed back to Joe. When Joe pardoned Hunter, he pardoned himself.
It's amazing. I mean, I still can't wrap my head, because I've worked for so many different media companies. I can't wrap my head around how corrupted they are on this story. I mean, it's terrifying. It really is. And they're willing to humiliate themselves on national TV to protect, for some reason, this story, because you know what? At the end of the day, they can't admit it now, because they denied it for so long. It doesn't matter that Joe's out of power. They don't need Joe Biden anymore. The problem is they can't admit it now because they denied it for so long. If they admit it now, it looks awful. They just can't do it. Seamus, good to see you. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Rob.